So what exactly does it mean to dress like old money? In addition, why would you even want to dress like old money? It sounds boring. And the reality is, most people aren't rich. Let's start things off by answering that first question. So, when you dress old money, typically this means adopting a style that exudes a sense of timeless elegance, sophistication, and wealth. So based off that definition, we answered the second question, because it just makes sense that people would want to give a signal of, hey, I'm timelessly elegant, I'm sophisticated, and who knows, maybe I could be wealthy someday. But seriously, gents, building an old money wardrobe, in my opinion, is smart, because you're building a wardrobe that isn't going to go out of style. An old money wardrobe sends the message that you're polished, that you're refined, that you are professional, you. So the first part of this video, I'm going to lay out a handful of rules that will ensure you get the old money look. And then the second half of this video, I'm going to talk about particular items that you're going to want to pick up to add to your wardrobe to give it that old money feel. Rule number 1, quality over quantity. So, rule number 1, quality over quantity. Now, if you've watched at least a few of my videos, you've heard me say this before, but it bears repeating, especially if you're going to build an old money wardrobe. The quality of the items that you're going to add to your wardrobe matters. Now, does this mean you've got to be rich, that you have to spend a lot of money on those items? No. You need to be able to spot quality, because then you can spot items that are on sale, items that normally would cost $1,000 on sale for $300. And you know to be able to grab that pair of shoes when you see it, and it's a deal. And to be straight up, gent, you don't even have to spend hundreds of dollars. You can go into a thrift store, you can raid your father, your grandfather, your uncle's closet and say, hey, he's not wearing this anymore. This is a classic item, and it's still in style because it's timeless. Boom. All of a sudden, you're able to add this classic tie, this classic blazer to your wardrobe. And I know so many of you guys are going to be tempted to buy cheap, but don't do it. And I know so many of you guys are going to be tempted to buy cheap, but don't do it. Instead, stick with the boring classics. Because guess what? They're going to be interchangeable. It's better to have less than to own a bunch of just cheap crap that is never going to look good and definitely won't fit into an old money wardrobe. Rule number 2, timeless elegance over trends. I get it, gents. The whimsical winds of fashion draws in. We see our favorite athlete wearing a particular brand, a particular item. And yes, it's trending. We want to jump on it. We want to look cool. But here's the thing. If you go with what that musician is wearing right now, it's going to be out of style within a few months. Again, gents, we want to go with timeless items that have been around for a decade, have been around for 50 years, because guess what? If it's been around for 50 years, it's going to be around for another 50. Now, I get it. Some of you guys are saying, well, this is boring. But think about how it's going to affect your wallet, because you go out there and you spend a lot of money on a trendy piece and then it's out of style. You don't want to be wearing it. You only got a handful of wears out of that item versus something that's timeless. You could wear this hundreds of times. You're going to get a lot of mileage out of it. And because you're going to get more mileage out of this particular item, you can justify spending a bit more. Remember, gents, the style theory of value. The value is equal to the number of wears times how it makes you feel, divided by the price. Rule number 3. Focus on the fit. Old money rule number 3, focus on fit. Gentlemen, you can spend $1,000 on a suit, but if it doesn't fit you, it's not going to look good. Compare that with a suit you had handed down to you from an uncle. You have it adjusted to fit you. It looks great. In fact, every time you put it on, it feels and makes you look like $1,000,000. Remember, fit is king. Rule number 4, stick with a conservative color palette. Seriously, over 90% of an old money wardrobe is going to be in the colors of charcoal black, navy gray, white, light blue, and camel. What do all these colors have in common? They're timeless, they're versatile, and they're sophisticated. Rule number 5, maintain your clothing and accessories. You own a shoe shine box, and you condition and shine your shoes after every wear. All right, so maybe you don't have to condition them after every wear, but you're taking care of them. When you get a scuff, when you get a nick, you are making sure to change out the laces after, 100 or 200 wears, when they start to fray. The buttons on your shirts, on your jackets, whenever they become loose, you actually have them repaired. Your automatic watch that you've had for over a decade, if it needs to be serviced, you send it in to get taken care of. Now, I know taking care of your clothing seems obvious to most, but many men coming from the world of disposable fashion, of t-shirts and sweatpants, they're used to something wearing out pretty quickly and just throwing it away. Rule number 6, accessorize wisely. So you don't want to bring in a whole bunch of bling. You're not going to bring in something that's trendy, something that's oversized. You want to keep it simple, whether it's going to be your briefcase, whether it's going to be that classic-looking backpack. When it comes to your watch, you don't want anything over the top when it comes to the jewelry you wear on your hands, around your neck. You want to keep this all simple, timeless, and elegant. Remember, gents, it's not about signaling wealth. It's about sending the message that I don't have to signal wealth because I'm self-assured as to who I am. And that takes us to the next rule about confidence. Rule number 7, confidence is key. So, when it comes to confidence in clothing, that comes from practicing wearing it and knowing when you put this stuff on that it feels good, that it looks good. You've received compliments. You know how to piece items together. In fact, the outfit that you go to, you've actually worn before you know that it looks good on, there are going to be no issues with anything having loose threads. This is your go-to. You feel like $1,000,000 outfit. Now, a lot of guys think that somehow wearing a sports jacket, wearing a blazer, wearing nice chinos or something is going to be uncomfortable. Guys, nothing could be further from the truth. Maybe it's unfamiliar because you're not used to wearing it, and that's why you've got to put in the reps. It's like going to the gym. Whenever you first show up at the gym, you don't know what those machines do. Whenever you don't dress well and you're around others, you actually start to feel like you're underdressed. You're not representing who you are. I'm somebody that you can invest your time and money into. All right, guys. So now let's get into the particular items that you're going to want to add to your wardrobe. Basic item #1, suits. I'm not going to cover everything, but I'm going to start off with, hey, these are the basics that you have to have. First up, the suit. But not just any suit. You don't want to walk into a box store and buy something that is cheap made from. A couple of issue being is these type of suits, your cheap ones are going to be glued right here in the chest piece. They're also going to have, maybe they're going to have overstructured shoulders. They are just going to look, they just don't look great, especially when you're sitting back, when you're relaxed. And that's why I highly recommend you look at suits in maybe the $500 plus range. Go to the best menswear store in your area. And this is key, that they're structured in a way that there's a bit of movement, because you want something when you put it on, it's incredibly comfortable. You don't want anything that is just over the top structured that is going to get in the way. And just a timeless old money type of style is going to be a suit that you can actually wear. You've heard of lounge suits. Now, do you want to go fully unstructured in the shoulders? You don't need to, but I do like it personally. Again, try on a variety of different styles. Want to bring in maybe just a little bit of pattern. You can bring in a subtle pattern. I always like herringbone. I do think that patterns can add a bit of, they can make it a little bit less versatile, but we're splitting hairs here. Point being, is that you find something that is incredibly comfortable for you. That, to me, is the most important part. And again, you're following the rules that we talked about the very beginning. You're making sure you get something that fits your body. You want to make sure the suit fits you really well. If you're a little bit heavier set, maybe go with higher-waisted trousers, and you'll be wearing suspenders with this. If you're really trim, or if you've got a bigger built upper body, you're going to want to make sure it fits you right up here.